Oh, dear God.
Hegseth, who is,
Oh.
in charge of the Department of Defense, reposted a pastor saying women should not vote. Here it is.
A big focus of his Christian movement is on a patriarchal society where men are dominant and women are expected to submit to their husbands.
Women are the kind of people that people come out of.
So you just think they're meant to have babies? That's
Oh
it.
my God.
They're just a vessel.
No, it doesn't take any talent to simply reproduce biologically. The wife and mother, who is the chief executive of the home, is entrusted with 3 or 4 or 5 eternal souls.
I'm here as a working journalist, and I'm a mom of 3.
Good for you.
Is that an issue
No.
for you?
And no, it's not automatically an issue.
Josh and Amy Prince, along with their 4 kids, moved here from Washington State.
Do you see Amy as your equal?
Yes and no, in the sense that we're both saved by grace. We're absolutely on equal footing, but we have very different purposes, God-given.
But do you see yourself as the head of the household, as the man?
He is the head of our household. Yes, and I do submit to him.
The preacher said that the woman is what people come through. Put up the Secretary of Defense. Now, the preacher can have his religious dogma. He actually has a right to be wrong. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth reposted the video. Defense Secretary reposted a video interview of a self-described Christian nationalist pastor whose church doesn't believe women should be allowed to vote. In the CNN interview, Wilson also defended previous comments where he said there was a mutual affection between slaves and their masters. He also said that sodomy should be recriminalized. The Supreme Court invalidated this in 2003. Slaves and masters, he said.
I have words.
Katie, go ahead. Before you bust a gasket through the screen and fuck
I'm
up
gonna vomit. I actually
There-
feel ill.
Yeah.
Men, there are reasons that women get periods every month and women give birth. Because if a man had to do that, all they would do is bitch and cry. Men cry about a fucking cold.
Yes.
So for a dumbass like that to say shit like that just pisses me off. I'm sorry, have you ever given birth? Because it's nothing like what you think it is. Nothing. Have you ever, hey, you know how we talk about how women shouldn't be in charge because they're so emotional? Guess who started all the wars? Men. And you're going around to say that the woman has to submit to the man. I think of this quote from My Big Fat Greek Wedding. And the mom had said at one point, she's like, the man may be the head, but the woman is the neck, and she can move the head any way she wants.
I love that fucking movie.
Yeah, but
what you mean you don't eat no meat?
But for some asshole to say shit like that, if we lived in a fucking patriarchal society, all these men would do is swing their dicks around at each other and get nothing done. Because women are the ones who get shit done. I'm just saying.
No, and for real, Katie, all mamas, bro. All mamas.
I just the image in my head. Because they would.
It is
so dumb.
It's probably they probably playing helicopters going like that in a room, not doing shit,
kicking each other in the dick to see who can take the most pain. It's so dumb. I'm sorry. I know there's wonderful men out there, but there are also a lot of fucking idiots.
Hey man, if it ain't you, then it ain't you, man.
When I've learned in my life that the people that talk about themselves the most are the biggest dumbasses. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Especially men. Yes. Fucking couches.
Yeah, for real. And honestly, look at that man talking about, I'm the hottest shit ever in the land, and women don't know this, acting like you are the hottest, most handsome devilishly handsome man that ever crossed the land, bro.
And
You
you know
are
he's
looking like
terrible in bed. Like
a
his
jar
wife
of
has probably
fucking
never had
mayonnaise,
an orgasm.
bruh. You are looking like a fucking old jar of mayonnaise right now, talking about the best thing that ever happened. If you
And
don't get your ass
does
out of here with your opinion,
does he think he was brought here by the stork? Because who birthed him? A
I
woman.
think he might have been.
Do
Shit.
you have any idea what a woman's body goes through in 9 months when they're pregnant? Like, bro, you just think she's like
4,000 things that can happen to a woman's body when she's pregnant and after. Like I like bow down to women who have had babies because that is some shit your body goes through. Teeth be falling out. No, thank you.
hair falling
sounds
out and growing
sounds horrible.
places.
That sounds absolutely like the
And
scariest.
like, but these men, but men like this also love to be the ones that are like, oh, you're glowing. This is the most magical time for women. Shut the fuck up, bro. Like,
Oh, and also someone kicked my balls and I'm gonna be debilitated for the next 10
They
minutes
be mad
because
about waking up in the morning, bitch. If you don't get out my face of that bullshit.
like I remember, just a side note, like I remember when I had my daughter and we brought her home from the NICU, and like my husband and I immediately went into doing equal work. Sometimes him even more than me, because he's like, you carried her for 9 months. You did a whole lot of stuff. Let me just try to help as much as I can. Like, but most men will be like, you're the mom, go do that. It's like, do you not realize that a woman's body is healing while trying to care for their child? I had a C-section. I had to sleep on a recliner for a month. I
No,
couldn't
I feel that, Katie.
I
And
couldn't
you know
lift
what? Maybe we
anything.
need to have a discussion about like women's like experiences and things like that, because you're the only one that's a mother here.
I did just want to say quickly,
Mhm.
I would like to do either on the show or We the People a deep dive into Pete Hegseth's misogyny because it is fucking scary. The
Yeah,
things that he and people like him believe about women are terrifying.
yeah. And it's a problem and it needs to be eradicated and dealt with.
He should not have
How
any power.
how that man got 3 different women to marry him, I'll never know.
I would say that Pete Hegseth, he doesn't have a real prominent, powerful position in the. Well, wait, he's the Secretary of Defense. This is one of the highest cabinet members and positions in the United States. And he's reposting Pastor Douglas Wilson, who is a known conservative, extreme rightist who believes that women are simply vessels for children. I mentioned The Handmaid's Tale earlier. I didn't realize it was the book, it was the show, it was the sequel, and the movie to be. That is where this country is heading because of the people we have elected into power. The most prominent people are restating exactly the sentiments that they are saying that their enemies are saying. What is the difference between this and ISIS? What is the difference between this line of thinking and the Taliban? These far extreme movements are actually much more similar than they are different. They just put a different packaging and a different bow and tie. It's the same exact sentiment. This is dangerous rhetoric.
This is what they want to do. White women are under assault here, and it's like there's no recognizing of it. It's like they don't know or some. Y'all late to the party is what I'm trying to say. We've been trying to tell y'all, and I mean, you're making yourself an easy target here. Like, white women are not a part of white supremacy and systemic racism at all. They do not benefit it from it at all. You think you might, but you just don't. And hello from a
Has
black woman here, just trying to let you know
if
you're not a part of
anybody
that.
if anybody has ever seen or read The Handmaid's Tale, I think her name's Regina, the wife. No, is it Regina? I don't know what the wife's name is. The wife of like the head leader.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about, the blonde woman in the
Yeah.
show.
So she's like when you see the recaps, she helped him start Gilead.
Like a
She
dumb bitch.
It was more of her idea than it was his. And then one of the things that they had was like women can't read. women can't do this, women can't do that. And she's like, but I started this movement. I helped. And they're like, we don't care. You're a
Women
woman.
can't have money.
Women can't have money. Women can't have any power. And even, yes, she did get her fingers cut off. Like, and then she thought she married somebody else who she thought supported her. Second they got married, he was like, all right, I entertained your little daydreams. Now submit to me. No. If you don't think that they're talking about you, you need to wake the fuck up.
Yes, proximity to a white man is not a benefit. Like that's what I think white women either subconsciously or directly think they get out of this whole system, but it's not to your benefit. You're still subservient.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Actually, I think they're the closer you are, the worse it can be for you because first of all, you think you're all good when you're not. At least as black people, we at least know who the enemy is and who's trying to
Serena.
fuck
Yeah,
with
that's what
us.
it is. Thank you, Deanna.
You know what I mean? We at least know that like, oh, bad over there. We're not getting snaked up on, and it's very clear that they don't fuck with us. But white women need to really kind of wake the fuck up because y'all shit getting fucked up and you don't even know it. And
It's like, I don't know if y'all have this, but I know people who they're liberal, but they will be with a conservative man because they love him. I don't understand. How can you be with someone who would vote for Trump or even think about voting for Trump? Or anyone who would threaten to take away women's rights? Like,
my husband and I have this conversation like
it's
all
a
the time.
selfish thing, I think, maybe.
Like, I guess some women just get in so deep that once men start to show their true colors, they're like, but he loves me, he said, and nobody loved me like him, and I'm stuck.
I don't know. And a lot of them maybe hey, if it's not happening to me, then I'm fine. It can happen to everybody else.
People ask me like why I get so worked up about a lot of this stuff, especially with like the everything happening with the immigrant community and with the LGBTQIA plus community, and they're like, well, that doesn't affect you, and I'm like, but it affects people I love. So why wouldn't I care about that?
it
Right.
affects other human beings. That's all that matters. Like, who says stuff like that?
Right. I mean, it's scary. White people and white women who are being attacked a lot more than they think they are. I'm trying to help them out. You know what I mean? I'm trying to help you out here, and point out that y'all are in danger of fucking around with these fucking people, man. For real. And I care about people being harmed, and it just seems like there is no hope of getting a hold of anybody in any sense into people's heads. And that's where I start to lose hope because it's just talking to a freaking brick wall.
What about all of these like conservative men that are accused of child pedophilia? What about all these conservative men that R-word their daughters or stepdaughters? Where is all the stats in that?
Let's go to that Joy Reid clip real quick because we were talking about the Handmaid's Tale.
Fertile women are turned into breed mules, enslaved by wealthy right-wing Christian couples who desire children that the wives cannot bear on their own. And so the handmaids are chained to the household, subjected to rape by the commanders and forced to hand their children over to the green-dressed wives to raise as their own, with the help of also enslaved Marthas, who in the novel were most often women of color. The Handmaid's Tale told of a right-wing version of America called Gilead, which came into being after a violent insurrection by Christian nationalists who enforced a theocracy on this new, violent, and terrifying nation, where being gay or lesbian was a crime punishable by hanging, and being a woman meant only 3 possible things: bearing children for right-wing Christian couples to raise, wifedom, or servitude. Now, if you think that kind of dystopia would never be goals for any reasonable American, then you haven't read Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation's playbook to birth a Christian nationalist America with similar rules and mores as Gilead, enforced by similar violence and dogma.
This is what we were just talking about. And I didn't even know this really about like the white woman kind of role in this until I started kind of doing a lot more research. And it's scary.
There's another role that Joy didn't mention.
Oh, she does, and I highly recommend everybody watch that in its entirety.
If you haven't, the other role is literally being a whore. They have this place called Jezebel's, which I think was in like the Washington D.C. area, that of course is illegal, but all the powerful men go there all the time. So, you know, but you know what? Shit like that still falls. It takes a while, but it can fall.
The thing about the show is, I did read the book, and Margaret Atwood said that everything that she wrote was based on things that had already happened.
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere in society, whether it's US or other countries, those things have happened.
Totally.
She just
100%.
compiled it all together into a bigger tale, and it's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. And I will say, I know May, you were commenting like, oh, if I watched the show, it gave me anxiety. I had so much of it when I watched it. It's a great show. It's really well done. But I will say, if you get weak at all, or like stuff can get heavy, I don't know if you should watch this, because there is a lot.
There, you got to take breaks and stuff like that. You know,
Oh
I
yeah.
can't.
Oh
Yeah, you know,
God.
I can't watch too much of that. Like,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
oof.
It's very good, but it's very scary, because
I had to stop watching after season 2 because it was just getting to be too much. It's just
you see a lot of parallels where you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to be close up, all up on my shit. You know what I mean? Like, I
Mhm.
like my fantasy to be fantasy.
Many unwed, particularly white pregnant women and girls, were sent to what was called maternity homes, where they were often coerced into surrendering their infants for adoption as soon as they were born, often without even giving them time to consider it, and with paperwork that barred them from ever finding or even contacting their children again. Per the Associated Press, in 1883, the first Florence Crittenden home opened in New York as a place to reform unmarried fallen women who were encouraged to keep their children. The goal changed by the middle of the 20th century when maternity homes began placing most babies with adoptive families. The so-called baby boom was happening not only among married couples. A rise in premarital sex, coupled with a lack of sex education and little access to contraception, led to more unplanned pregnancies for unmarried women and girls. Abortion was not yet legal nationwide, and single motherhood bore.
I really highly implore everybody to watch that whole thing. I learned a few new like knickknacks. I knew like the kind of idea of it, but it's actually a lot more interesting than you think. I mean, noticed a lot of
Something
people in their 80s and 90s had like 15 kids. Does that have something to do with that? Jazzy, you know what? That's a really good question. I think it might have some correlation with that. But
grandmother
I
had
mean, we gotta do our research. I'm not gonna go ahead and say I'm like an expert on it, but I mean, if I were to guess and do
well,
some
you
research,
also
then we
needed
find
kids
out that
to
that
you
does
needed
correlate.
kids to work, and kids also would die. So the
Yeah,
more kids you had, the more chances you had of some of them surviving.
yeah, and then women also were again just little shoots for humans, apparently with no autonomy or anything. So if that's what we're all only good for, of course, yeah, 15 kids, sure.
something that scares me about a lot of this, where they talk about like banning abortion or contraception or not having sexual sex ed classes. Even if they were to ban abortion completely in this country, it would still happen. And people would die. And people would
People
get
are
sick.
dying.
Well,
Women
it
are
would be,
dying.
I know, but like it would be even worse because it wouldn't be safe. It would be back to literally like the coat hanger days.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to say that you don't realize people are dying.
No. I understand. But like so, no matter what they try to do, it's just going to get worse.
There are things like if you're going to force me to have a baby that I can't afford to take care of, there's going to be problems.
Or can't afford to, yeah, or can't even have, maybe because my body like is having a hard time and I can't even afford to get the medical care that I need to actually have the fucking baby that you want. Like, I mean, these people are
There's
oh
literally
God, the words that
there's
I got for these
I
people
mean
are
like
not through the internet, I'll tell you that.
there's literally women that have been told like if you get pregnant you will die. And people just think like, oh no, that's not right. Even though they got their doctorate from WebMD, like, bro.
You know, one thing I saw today, I was gonna add it, but I didn't have enough time. But I did see something that said that white black men's biggest problem is being murdered by police, and black women's biggest problem is being murdered by the doctor or a hospital. Um, and it's totally true. So there you go. Have fun with that one.